gaddi leke. I'm in the gaddi, but I'm also staying well and truly inside the gaddi because, as you can see on the roof of my gaddi, there is a lot of meat. That's what
Yeah.
the rain is coming down, people. The rain is here. But welcome, one and all, to Fan Doosra. We're beaming with sunshine here inside our cars and inside our houses. My fans are bringing me the heat and the sunshine that I need, and as well as having phones that are going off in the background. We are live. That's the beauty of live. I love it. Anything could happen. My car could be attacked. We don't know what's going to happen right now, but we're ready. We're on standby, and we're ready for the attack of day 5. We are, of course,
Whose phone is it? Whose phone is ringing?
Whose phone is that? Kunal's not having it. He's like, come on. Kunal's that teacher. I heard a phone. but they won't let it go. It's like you slowly put your phone on silent and left it underneath the table. But Master Kunalji, he wants to know whose phone it was. All right, we know who the strict one is out of these two. All right, whereas Sanika will be like, hey, it's okay. Do you need to take the phone call? Do you need to take it? If you need to take it, take it. Speak. It might be important. You know, that's Sanika. Much nicer. So yeah, Sanika Kanala here. Good Credit is here, and of course, my man sitting there looking all pretty at the top. You were dealing. I can tell you're being distracted a little bit there, Yatad. Who's there? Someone's there with you, Yatad. Who's there with you?
I was looking if there is any disturbance outside my house.
Ready.
Why would there be disturbance outside of your house? Are you like Shah Rukh Khan? Is that what it is? You're saying there's people gathering?
No, my house is on the main road, so there might be an accident and everyone is like shouting on each other. So I might miss the drama outside.
Take the camera over. We will have a look.
So I was actually worried. I thought maybe you seemed concerned there for a minute, like, oh, something's happening. Maybe somebody needs my help. But your dad is just like, I don't want to miss out on the drama. There's
Yeah.
I'm going to go, yeah, the play's not started yet, so let's just have a look outside your dad's house. No, let's get focused on the play. Okay, here we are, people. Day 5, England versus India, day 5 at Trent Bridge. Nottingham, like we just said, is raining heavily. We don't know, but they were saying that yesterday, and we got quite a lot of game play in yesterday. So anything could happen. The rain is really choppy, changing. I will say that. Even now, I've just arrived at a temple. I'm here for a little event this Sunday morning, but it was chucking it down when I got here 20 minutes ago, and it's completely stopped now. So that's the kind of inconsistency of the weather. But we've had a fairly consistent India team, Gurkharat, and I think if I had offered you, a run chase, to chase down 152 runs, what we've got to do today at the start of the test, you would have probably taken that, wouldn't you?
You would have, considering in some ways that India also, what I felt wasn't their best 11, because I don't think, in your best 11, you will miss out on your most experienced bowler in Ishant Sharma. And in all fairness, I think India did miss out Ishant Sharma, miss Ishant Sharma, because someone like Mohammad Shami, who's the second most experienced bowler, he went for more than 4 runs and over. Ravindra Jadeja didn't also bowl a lot. He only bowled 13 overs, and that is, the second time in 2 test matches where Virat Kohli has not utilized him fully as a bowler. And again, even Mohammad Siraj, he had to bowl a lot of overs and didn't quite really show the discipline that you want, from your third pacers. Because although he was troubling the batsman with his lines, there was always a one boundary ball that kept coming, which also reflected in England's run rate. If you see, they scored at 3.5 runs and over, and credit to Joe Root for ensuring that those runs kept coming. So given everything, that especially India had lost the toss, Ishant and Shami were Ishant and Ashwin were missing. India were missing their frontline opener as well, one of them. I'd really take it, but I'd still say that the job is not done yet, because the last time India chased more than 200 runs in an overseas test match was back in 2003 in Adelaide. After that, we haven't really chased anything. The second highest chase has been just 73 runs, which was back in Trent Bridge in 2007. So the job is far from done yet. We could lose three wickets in the next half hour, which we are so accustomed to, and then it could look a lot very different from what it is looking right now. So I think the first star today is very important. If we are able to bat the first star, add around 30 runs, that would more or less, knock the wins out of the English side, because they also don't have a fifth bowler. It will ensure that fields are spread. There aren't many catching positions. But yes, going into fifth day, you have to say that India are the favorites. 150 runs, 9 wickets in hand, only 4 bowlers. You'd be pretty happy as the chasing side.
Okay, a couple of questions here that Gurkir's really raised about the bowling selection. Your thoughts? Would you say that? Would you agree with Gurkir? They say we didn't quite utilize all of our bowling attack as best we could.
Well, definitely, good Kirat was right on some aspect that we could have conceded some less amount of runs, because from that position which we were in, I never expected that England going on to score a lead above 200. So the way they batted, they show that they are not letting this game off. But again, for as of now, we just need to concentrate on getting those 157 runs, because it was the same, in the first test match back in 2018. We had something like a same situation. We needed some 65 with 5 wickets in left, and again we just threw that game away. So the first hour is going to be definitely important. You need to negotiate the new ball, because when we saw England batting yesterday, it was absolutely nothing. The ball when it was older, it was just going off the color. So just negotiate the new ball, and then I think they would be all right.
Okay, be ready to adapt with that. Kunal, we're all saying we're all favourites. So Kunal and Sanika, we are favourites right now, going into day 5. But this is ours to lose potentially. It's ours to throw away. It could so easily go that way.
Yeah, the pressure's on us, like rightly said by, like rightly put forward by you, that we are in a good position, and ideally everyone would. I mean, India winning wouldn't be celebrated as much as India losing from this point. That'll be like, by the opposition, but they'll be like, oh, how did you miss out this win? So there's more pressure on the Indian side, and as you mentioned, Yathar, you just took me back to that memory. I think it was Rishabh Pant and Ajinkya Rahane chasing down the total, and that's where both of them went for some weird shots, and quick wickets started. We had a complete collapse. So yeah, I do hope. Oh my God, look at my head. I'm so sorry for that. Then I genuinely hope that the Indian batsman right now, Rohit Sharma, is on the crease with Pujara, and it's high time we were discussing about Pujara as well. Like he has to play really, really good now, or else his form also will be questioned a lot in the upcoming games. So yeah, hopefully they'll have a good play, and we will, second session should be a win for us.
And hope we get the whole day of play.
I know, yeah.
Please,
Like
yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. If I'm honest, Sanika, I don't want to be negative, but I'm not sure about a whole day's worth of play today, because that Uno board should be ready standby. You might break it down for me a bit more, Kunal. What do you want from Pujara? What do we want to see today? What kind of play? What would you be saying to him if you were trying to motivate him to get into the game this morning?
Yeah, so for now, I just want Pujara to be scoring runs, or rather anchoring, like staying on the crease. That's more important. That's what Pujara has been doing over the years. And people have been questioning his, intent, whether he's scoring or not. That's not really the focus right now in this innings, because we just need 150 runs. If Pujara can hold the crease one side, and Rohit, there's Virat, there's a lot of batsmen who can actually be scoring. And Pujara, it would be good. I mean, I'm not saying Pujara is out of form right now, but then Pujara's form has been questioned by a lot of fans, and if even he was almost out yesterday. There was a catch it wasn't actually a catch, but then a very close call over there. So I want Pujara to be confident for the second test match, because he is still one of the best test batsmen of Team India.
Yeah, I agree. Who's going to be key for us today?
Like Kunal mentioned, so we have to go back and look at the two efforts on the 5th day in Australia, both in Brisbane and in Sydney. There was a reason why the likes of Gill, Pant could attack, because they knew that there was one end being held up. So Pujara becomes important from that aspect, and then anyone who comes in, he has to make sure that they keep the scoreboard ticking, because Joe Root is also a slightly defensive captain, and he doesn't have a lot of runs to play with. After every 10 or 20 runs, you would see Joe Root, move one fielder to the boundary, or move one fielder from a catching position to a single saving position, because there are not much runs to play with. Another thing that I want to tell the viewers, and it will actually give them some good news, if you look back at the test matches at Trent Bridge between India and England from 2002, batting second has always been better than batting first. You look back at 2002 when India drew that test match, there was 100 by Virender Sehwag and Rahul Dravid. India scored more in their second innings than what they did in first innings. You look back at 2007, England batting first were dismissed for 190 odd, and then batting became much easier. They had scored 350 plus in the second innings. You look back at 2011, again, India batted the whole 5th day, and they didn't really get out. They had scored 350 odd. England had added 180 runs with the last wicket between Joe Root and James Anderson. You look back at 2011, both the innings, both the first innings were dismissed under 300, but then England scored 500 plus runs in their third innings. You look back at 2018, batting became much more easier in the third innings. India scored 350 odd in the third innings when England were dismissed for 160. So
Why do you think that is, Gurpreet? Why does that happen?
Yeah, because Trent Bridge, is the sort of the pitch, it has always had this pattern where the pitch tends to hold up. There's not a lot of sideways movement as we have seen on day 4. There was not a lot of sideways movement. It was bounce. It's just that the bounce becomes slightly inconsistent where someone like a Ollie Robinson can come into play. But even if you look at the average swing has come down from the first innings. I think the average swing in the first innings was around 1.7, then it was 1.3. In the third innings, it was 0.9 degrees. And yesterday, when India batted, it was only 0.5 degrees. So Trent Bridge, unlike a lot of other venues in England, tends to get better to bat as the match progresses. It's very much like how venues are in New Zealand, where you see that as you progress in the test match, because the early grass gets shaved off and there's enough consistent bounce, it becomes easier to bat. So there is, that is something which is very important from an Indian aspect and an Indian point of view. You would see this in matches in Trent Bridge that batting becomes slightly easier on day 4 and day 5 if you compare it to the other venues. So India are very much in this game, despite them chasing 200.
Sanika, I'd imagine it's a bit like you at a party. Like the more the music goes on, then you start dancing. It's like you're not gonna come out dancing. She's gonna do a little shimmy first and then warm up. Would you say that's your dancing strategy at a party?
See, according to me today, if there is rain, like it is predicted, even if we get one session, let's play T20 match because it is just 150. So let's play T20 instead of Test match.
Oh God!
Whoa,
Please don't. I mean,
I don't want this to happen.
Yeah,
but
yeah. You're okay. See, okay, that's the risk right there. Then that's the risk that we've been in this spot before when we suddenly go, yeah, we want them to hit it. I want Kohli to get a century, and this and then all of a sudden they go out and we go, oh, why did they risk it? Why don't they know it's Test cricket? So what do you want? Do we want a T20 slogging match or not?
We tried that in the WTC and that ended up losing our way. So don't want that thing to repeat. I remember we had a debate on this Fan Doosra show when we were talking that India should go for the win, and Gurpreet was only saying that you should just draw it up, and otherwise it still hurts the most. So the first session is going to be drawn, and hopefully we have some play in the second and third. If we get a play of 2 sessions, I think 150 would be on the cards because we batted 14 over yesterday and we got 52 runs. So that shows how good it is a pitch to bat on. So negotiate the first over if at all we get the play, and once it gets started, I think we will have enough time to complete it.
Okay, I want to flip it, Kunal, if I can for you. I'm going to flip it a little bit and say, now imagine you're England coming out. You've got to claw this back. What will they be doing, and therefore what do we need to do to not let them do that? Does that make sense?
Oh God, okay. So you're saying if I am I'm the coach of the England team right now, what should I do? What should I tell them?
What are they going to be doing? And therefore, part 2 of that is then what we do to counteract it.
Okay. So India's, I think, Indian players are really talented, but one of the major drawback is that they get easily, if we give them an easy ball, I mean, like yesterday, Rohit's wicket. So they get tempted very easily. So they can be easily tempted, be it Rishabh Pant, be it Rohit, be it any batsman, except for, I would say, Virat and Pujara. Rest would actually, if given a loose delivery, they will actually go for the shot. And that's, no, even Rahane won't do that. But then the 3 that I mentioned are the ones fans are concerned about their form. So the remaining batsmen who are there, they can easily be tempted. So I would tell them, bowl those, the deliveries that these batsmen really love playing, where they would ideally loft the ball and add tremendous pressure on them. Constant sledging would be happening either way. The fans are already trolling Virat for their review. You might have watched it yesterday. Every dot ball, the fans are just going review. So I think all this being added up. Even Stuart Broad yesterday, while after he got the first wicket, he was asking he was asking the crowd to just start pumping up. So I feel all this will be adding pressure on the Indian batsmen, and to relieve pressure, if you bowl a delivery which can tempt them to go for those risky shots, that's where the wickets might start falling. And once there's 1 or 2 wickets gone, there's tremendous pressure on the players as well. Okay. And another thing, I mean, we know India's approach. We would I mean, over the last few years, we've seen go for the win or loss is also fine. But English players might be knowing that India wouldn't really go for a draw. So in that sense as well, they have an opportunity to win the match. Since we are not settling for a draw, since the Indian team is not willing to settle for a draw, that also can be used by the English players really well.
Gurkut, you want to add to that and tell me, about an England strategy, what potentially luring in our vulnerable, easily excitable hitmen out there that might just want to go for those big shots and then potentially get caught out or run out or anything else we might see. What will England be doing?
So, see, the way I see it, I don't think Joe Root is going to start straight away with James Anderson because, this is the kind of pitch where someone like Stuart Broad has enjoyed a lot of success. I was here on day one and I had spoken about the same because he's taken an 8-for here, he's taken a hat-trick here. So it would make a lot more sense to start with Robinson and Stuart Broad because, again, the ball isn't swinging that much. There's slightly two-paced bounce. And with these two bowlers who are naturally tall, that variable bounce comes a lot more into play than with someone like Jimmy Anderson, who you can actually, stand outside of the crease and negotiate the little bit swing that is there. What I'd, do if I was Joe Root, that I'd start with these two bowlers. And once then I get a breakthrough somewhere, I know Virat is going to come in, then I'll get Jimmy Anderson for a 5 or a 6 over spell. But I really wouldn't start the day with him because if Jimmy Anderson starts the day, and the half an hour or the first 45 minutes are negotiated without a loss of the wicket, then it becomes very difficult for England to claw back into the game because Jimmy Anderson can't be bowling throughout the whole session. He's not a Ben Stokes who can bowl 10-15 overs or a trot, or he's a spinner. So I'd potentially start with Robinson and Broad and see how much of variable bounce can they bring into play, and then once I get a wicket somewhere, then I'll bring Jimmy for a full tilt for a 6 or a 7 over spell. If he breaks the game open then and there, then we can see England clawing back. But if Jimmy's first spell is negotiated, then it's very difficult for India to lose from there. Not impossible, but difficult because this Indian batting is capable of committing some sort of a harakiri, which they pretty much did in the WTC final. But if I'd be happy if James Anderson is starting the day than Robinson or Stuart Broad starting the day, purely because there's a lot more variable bounce than variable swing.
Okay, we'll take that. Yadath, would you agree with that as a strategy? If we're going to be served up these super fast balls by these extra large English cricket players, we have to deal with that as best we can. Is that the only way we go forward in this first session?
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Another thing which India needs to keep in mind that England are coming with only 3 bowlers. Yes, they have Sam Curran, but in this wicket when there is no sideways movement, I don't think he would be that much effective because he doesn't have a lot of pace, which can trouble the Indian batsman. He'll just look to ball to move around his angle. But so I think they should also, after a time when the England bowlers start getting tired, they can also try to attack a bit more of them. What we saw, the partnership of KL and Rohit in the first innings, they had Sam Curran there, but once they were in, they never looked to be. They were never looked to be worrying that if we lose this wicket then what's going to happen. So they were having a mindset that if they clear the new ball and they are going to attack. So the main strategy for India is in the first 20 over, if they lose a wicket or maximum 2 wickets, still we are in the game. But in case if we lose 3 to 4 wickets, then the game is done and dusted there because we know that Rishabh Pant has pulled the streamer once in Australia, but that's not going to happen always. So don't lose more wicket than 2 wickets. Even if we lose 2 wickets, we have quite depth in the batting, so which can make the total easy.
And that's true. And I've got to say, again, all the headlines over here, particularly obviously being in England, everyone's talking about Joe Root's century from yesterday. But really, what a formidable, what an amazing India squad it is. And there are so many aspects to it. This should go our way. We've talked enough. I feel like if someone flicks onto this show while we're talking about England's strategy, they're like, who is this? Who's talking about how England are going to win this game? I'm doing that more so to understand what's going to happen today, what the other opposition will be doing, and therefore what we want to see from our boys. But if that win goes our way, Kunal and Sanika, what will you be doing later on today to mark it? Because it's been a great weekend for India sport all round. What's going to happen later on?
So first of all, I hope the match gets over before 12 o'clock. I mean, it's really, we get really sleepy by that time.
Yeah.
So the show happens at around 12:15. So Instead, I would prefer it around 8ish, so we can have a nice dinner party at my place as well, and we can do a live Instagram live as well. So it'll be quite fun. But yeah, I do hope. I mean, if there's no rain, I mean, if rain is there, then obviously the play will go on till the very end. But then that being said, if there's far too less overs and 150 to chase, let's say 30 overs, still don't take the risk if you're losing wickets. Go for the kill, that's fine, but you should know where to draw the line and where, because it's an overseas tour and draw is also a good result for us since we are touring them.
You say you take a draw? Does that feel like an attractive offer right now? Because
Not right now, but then if the rain spoils the play, let's say 2 sessions are gone, if there's just 1 session left, around 30-ish overs are left, and 150 is still needed, right, Gurpreet? Well, around 150 is still required. It's still easily gettable from that sense if you look at it from a 30 like ball and run combination, but then it's still risky. So go for the kill, that's fine. That's the approach Indian team has had. But then if a few wickets are falling, don't do what we did in the World Championship final. Hold the crease and survive, because this is an away tour, and if this would have been in India, that would have been a different case. Like a draw would have been a moral victory for England. But since we are touring over there, draw is a moral victory for us.
Okay. No, I absolutely agree. Right. Yadad, would you agree with that? Want to get your final points? We're going to hear from our Bharat Army boys that are at the ground. We'll see what the weather looks like and all that in just a moment. So stick with me. The final thoughts from you then, going to this final day. What have you seen from your India squad so far in this Test series? And are they proving that they can go on to win the whole series?
Well, first of all, when you play in England, you need to consider 2 things. You have to look at the sky and then you have to look at the pitch. So, first, if the weather clears, and the pitch is not doing much, then I think if we get a play of 2 sessions, then very well, we don't need to try something out of the box. The game could be well in our hands. But in case if we lose the first 2 sessions and we have only 1 session, then I think it's going to be a tricky moment, and you need to decide: are you going for the draw, are you going for the win, or what's your mindset? So that really needs to depend. So weather plays a major role here.
Okay, Gurpreet, I'll get your final point in just a moment. We'll cross over now to Trent Bridge. This is our Bharat Army boys that are there for Fan Doosra on behalf of you fans everywhere around the world. We just want to give you a little glimpse, a live glimpse into the pitch and what's going on there right now. So this is us catching up with the guys just a few minutes ago.
Good morning from Trent Bridge, day number 5, the decisive day for Team India and for England, I guess. And this morning we got Ryan. How you doing, Ryan?
Good.
You happy?
Yeah.
You've been here for pretty much all the days, haven't you?
Yeah.
How many days have you seen so far?
This is the 3rd day.
The 3rd day, all right. Do you think India are going to win today?
Yeah.
And what's been your favourite moment of the match so far?
Jasprit Bumrah getting 5 wickets.
He was great yesterday, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He bowled really, really well. What about your hairstyle? Whose hairstyle is that in the Indian team?
Mohammed Siraj, but then he cut it.
And then he cut his hair. Are you going to cut your hair now?
No.
All right. So who are you looking forward to batting today?
Kohli.
Kohli. You want to see Kohli hit the winning runs?
Yeah.
All right. Let's give a big fist pump to everyone. Come on, India! Come on, India!
Oh, and we're back. There you go. I was going to say, how disappointed was that poor little Rayan? Poor little Rayan, who got his haircut done like his favourite cricket star, and then he goes and cuts his hair. That's why any fans of me, I will never let you down. This is never going to change, okay? It's one style forever. 60 degrees of duckliness going on right now. Love it, love it, love it. Listen, you can see there, everyone's excited. The kids are there. It's the weekend here. It's a lovely day. Summer holidays. Kids are off school. We're looking for a day for the cricket. And I gotta say, it's dry now. Look, that little bit of rain on my roof is deceptive. It's kind of, the light's starting to break through. It's nearly 10:30 in the morning. If we just get a few hours, you're right, we could wrap this up quite quickly. Gurpreet, final words from you before we wrap this up.
Before I go into the game, since you're quite proud of your head, I just want to say batsmen all around the world want pitches like that. Okay, so you'd always be a favorite of the batsmen who play the game of cricket. Coming to the game.
So hold on a minute. Is my head? Are you saying my head's like a fast bowling pitch, or what is it? What kind of head is it?
It's a batting pitch.
It's the kind of pitch that you get in Rajkot and and
Yeah.
Nagpur, where there's a proper highway, no swing, no swing, no turn. So
I'm going to tell everyone that I've got a Raj called. It's brilliant. I'm sold. Love it. Okay, sorry. You were
jokes
going to
apart,
say now talk cricket.
yeah, jokes apart, I think if there's a rain interruption, it will just come down to how many overs are going to be played. If there are going to be 50 overs, then India can still bat normally and chase the target, which is just 150 runs away. What it also would do in some ways is, if there are only 50 overs, is that it takes the option of England winning away, because there are not going to be enough overs left for England to dismiss India,
Yeah.
unless again they play so badly or so poorly that they gift their wickets away. But if say half of the day is taken away, there are only, because technically there are going to be 98 overs to be bowled, but if it just comes down to around 45 to 50 overs, then I feel India should bat for 10-15 overs normally, and then take it from there. You have to take the loss out of equation before you start risking a win. That is something which didn't happen in the WTC final.
Yeah.
Had that happened, there was no way India would have lost that game. Yeah? If India had batted till tea, there was no way India were losing that game anyway, even if they had gotten all out. So India have to just make sure that they bat normally. If there's a normal day, then. But what rain would do is that it would also slow down the outfield, because the outfield at Trent Bridge has been quite quick. Batsmen are getting value for their shots, which wasn't happening in Southampton, because you were playing those shots, but you were not getting the boundaries for it. You were only running 2s and 3s. So if there is no rain, that would also help, which actually helped the Indian batsmen quite a lot. Once the fielder was beaten, you were certain that it would go to the boundary. So if the rain comes down, it will play a part on the outfield as well. So India just have to be slightly careful. Just ensure that whenever the play begins, first 10-15 overs you bat normally, and then the pressure will be back on England. They will have to make sure that India do something out of the ordinary to lose the game, because if India bat normally, there is no way that they don't win.
You're right. We just need a solid, consistent, sound performance, ready to kind of adapt to weather and conditions and light throughout the day. It's a fine day.
Just one thing before I leave. I hope no one says that Jasprit Bumrah is a choker, or he's finished, or he's spoiled after marriage. He's taken 9 for 100 in a test match where no one else. Ollie Robinson has taken a 5-for, but if you see, the average run rate has been around 3.5. He's conceded runs lesser than 3.5, and his bowling average in this test match is the best of all bowlers. You don't take 9 for 100, very easily in a test match. Another coincidence that will make the Indian fans very happy: the last time India played at Trent Bridge, Jasprit Bumrah had taken a 5-for in the second innings. Jos Buttler was out in the second innings, shouldering arms. He was out LBW in that game. He was out bowled yesterday, shouldering arms. So there are a lot of good, happy coincidences with Trent Bridge and India. So hopefully, that coincidence is repeated.
Love it. I love that. Love that we have a nice positive note to end it on. Right. Happy notes indeed. We're in for day 5. We'll be bringing you the post-stump show as well later on today. And fingers crossed, we'll all be celebrating a first win in this series for India. So come on, Team India. Thank you to the Bharat Army. Thank you to Daffa News. Thank you to Kunal and Sanika, Gurkharat, and of course, Yatharth there. Yatharth, go rescue the people out in the street.
Yeah.
Go rescue them out. You can go do your superhero duties, and we'll see you at the end of the day. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.